Hey folks, and welcome to the Pipnotic Symposium for the 16th of November 2022. Today I'm going to just show one trade, the trade that we got filled on yesterday, and then we're going to talk a little bit about the chickens, and the roosters are saying good morning to you all as well. And we're going to have a look at some of the configuration settings in the supply and demand software, because I'm getting a lot of questions about this. Alright, okay, so first of all, the trade we got into was this one here. We talked about the pound, Japanese yen, and the pound Swiss franc. My pound yen trade expired, but we managed to get this one yesterday. And we got out just here, so we had a 2.5 to 1 reward to risk, which was quite lovely. So we got out here at this little price nodule here, so price was expected to get out there. Ideally, the sell zone, where the sell zone right there, the bar that left the high of it right there, and that's where price came to it. But you don't know that that's going to happen, so I said, well, I'm going to get out lower, I'm going to get out here, you know. But this was a really, really beautiful trade, and super quick as well. And then we had the same thing on the pound yen, which I did not get. Pound yen, where are you? G, boom, boom. There it is, pound yen. Okay, and this one here was quite lovely as well. The same thing, just here, right there. Price poked into that area. That update. Poked into it, and then we had a nice departure. So this is nice, and this is looking like it may want to wriggle slightly higher, but we'll see. We have price and efficiency, which is rebalanced, and this is essentially just a nice strong indication or price indicator. Now price slowly fed away. Okay, and so yeah, we'll see what happens. But those are some pretty interesting trades. Okay, so I want to cover a couple of the settings in the software. First of all, for those of you who are using buy and sell zones, Algo Trader, I use it in a 2-chart configuration. I use it like this. So I have this chart here, where I have the supply and demand software, and I have this one here, where I have the supply and demand software, and the buy and sell zones software just here at the top right. Okay, and the reason that you want to be mindful of the fact that you only have one instance of the buy and sell zones robot is because if you have more and you turn it on, it's going to open trades on other charts as well. Okay, so you only want to have it in a 2-chart configuration like this, where buy and sell is attached to only one chart, which is what I have here. And so what I'm doing, just to show you how I use it, we've done tons of videos on this in the past. I'm just simply going like this. I'm getting on the time frame that I like, which is typically the 4-hour, the daily, and I say, oh, okay, I like what I see. If I like what I see, then I just click on the Algo Trader like this. So let me move this down so you can see. Okay, I just turn it on. The robot says, cool, there's the entry, there's the stop, and the target's up here somewhere. Okay, so I'll leave it pretty much like that. Okay, and I turn it off, go to the next one. And on the next one, if I see something, if the robot says you should be trading here, but I don't agree, then I simply won't turn on the Algo Trader. Like this one here, I mean, this is a beautiful area. It's a nice departure, but it's really high. And so if you're considering our boxing technique here for a second, and we measure from the low to the high of the swing, and this is like this is really, really high. So we are paying premium prices, we're paying very high prices for this asset. So you want price to come down to you. And so getting in here, while it would be a cheaper price in here, it's still a pretty high price. And we also have these price inefficiencies below price that may result in price feeding back into these lower retracement levels. Okay, so keep that in mind, and that's simply what I'm doing. All right, and then we have, let me go back to this chart here, close this, and then we have the software. And the software, as you can see, is drawing all sorts of rectangles, and it should be doing this by default. If I go to the settings here, okay, let me just go like this. If we go to the settings, and we have a look at supply and demand, this should be set to true. Okay, this is really important that this is set to true. This is not set to true, it's not going to draw any of these rectangles. And I go through all of this in the video where I cover this piece of software, which is here. Go to the memberships, go premium video archive, click it like that, it'll bring you onto this page here. Then you go to premium software, and then you zoom, didn't work, you zoom. Okay, and then you just go through here and you find the one that you're looking for. See, the software is going to be further down. Pipnotic supply and dashboard, supply and dashboard. It's not that one. It's maybe in the beginning, because this is where, here, this one right here. So then you simply click on that. It'll throw it up here. And this is a really extensive video that shows you how to use the software. Okay, and here it goes through all of the settings. It tells you how to install it and all of that stuff. It shows you how to configure the parameters that you need, and it shows you what the parameters do and how the parameters affect the behavior of the software. Okay, so I really advise you to go in and have a look at this video. Okay, and it is on page 3 in the premium Pipnotic software section, in the premium video archive section on the website. Okay, so just keep that in mind. Okay, so back to this software. This is just going to be a very, very brief overview. Okay, and so looking at this software here, we can see very clearly that we have this enabled. Okay, and there's something here, a greater period multiplier, which is an awesome configuration option. It's very few people know about this, but it's so powerful, and I really want to bring this to everybody's attention. Okay, so what you can do here, when this is set to 0, again, this is covered in detail in the video I just showed, but for now we're just going to go over it quickly. When this is set to 0, it shows the supply and demand software on the current time frame, so the 4-hour chart. Okay, we're on the 4-hour chart. But let's say that you want to see supply and demand on this time frame +1, +2. So the 4-hour, the daily, and the weekly. Then you simply put 0, 1, 2. You hit enter. And then it'll do the same thing, but then you have all the other stuff as well. We have red, this is daily. We have orange, this is weekly. Okay, this is a really big deal, and this is all relative to the time frame that you're looking at. So if I jump to a 1 hour, then it's going to show 1 hour, 4 hour, and daily, and I'll do that quickly just as an example. So here we're waiting for it, and the algo runs, boom, and it snaps into place. So here on the hourly, we have this hourly area here. It was formed, it was tested 2 times, and we have the area above, so the time frame above, which is a 4 hour, which is this one just here. Okay, so when price moves up and away from here, keep in mind that we have daily supply above price. Okay, super important to be aware of. Okay, so this is really, really powerful, and you can even get super creative. If you're one of those people who I used to be, and you want super accurate entries, you can even go negative time frame. So if you're on the hourly time frame, but you want to see 30-minute areas, well, you can do this. You can put -1. You press OK. Let that load, and that will show 30-minute areas on this time frame. Okay, and these can be remarkable. Okay, because what they're doing is that they're looking on the time frame one smaller than the one you're looking at. Okay, let's see if we can get some more levels here. So this is the 4 hours, so this will be showing hourly areas. Just like the ones we saw a second ago. Okay, we had this one here, it was formed here, tested several times. We had this one here, which is tested once. This one here has not been tested. Okay, so really, really interesting how you can do that. Okay, and this combined with the boxing functionality, which we can see here, is very, very powerful. Let me just reset the settings. Boom, boom. Okay, this is really, really powerful because it's going to keep you on the right side of the market. So if we go like this, okay, and we look at this here, this is the low of this swing, this is the high. Okay, and so buying above the 50% box is slightly high risk. I did that yesterday. It worked out. It was a beautiful area. Demand, buy zone, price went beyond that into demand, and then we moved higher. The price ideally is going to come down to at least a 50%. And because this is the pound Japanese yen, okay, and because price has already been here prior to it reaching its high, this means that it will almost, I'm not going to say always, but it'll very highly likely move beyond that. So it will come at least to this area next time it comes down. It's probably going to target this area here and this area here, okay? And I'm using the Fibonacci tools, but I don't care about Fibonacci ratios. That's not what I use the tool for. The only thing that I use a tool for is to tell me when price has moved back into the median price range, which is this 50% area here, which is halfway between, it's an average between the low and the high, okay? And so when price comes back to here, if you didn't get in here and price is up here, well, this is a very expensive price. But if price goes from the low to the high and then moves back 50%, well, that's an average price of the high and the low, which is a pretty good price. If you didn't get in here, okay, then you don't want to get in here. And the further lower price moves in this box, the one that we spoke about so many times, the greater the discount that we have on the price of this asset. Okay, so keep that in mind. Okay, and there was another question that came in, and that was relative to the rectangles. So if I go here and I go to rectangles, in default this should be set to true. If it's not, just double check that, but it should be set to true. Okay, you set that to true. What this does is it'll allow you to mark, to draw a triangle, so a rectangle like this. Let's just do this one here, like that. Okay, and notice nothing happens now. Why? Because the rectangle is marked, it's selected, and so the software knows that I am not done moving the box around. Okay, so when it's selected, it doesn't do anything, it ignores it. I can move it like this, or whatever, you know, I can put it here or here. When I'm done, when I say, okay, this is a nice area, then I deselect it by clicking it once or twice, depending on the configuration of your chart. And I'll show you very quickly where you can change that. So if you go to the tools, options, objects, and this one here, select object by single mouse click. I have this set to true, then I only have to click it once, as you can see. Okay, so once I deselect this, the software says, here we have a rectangle. It's not selected, which means that Sarid has finished moving it. So let's grab it. We'll put volume information, so the size of this area, 96 pips, the percentage of the account that is allowed, the volume based on my risk parameters, entry price, stop price. Okay, so this is really very, very handy. And so what you can do now you can go to the hourly chart, and this one is still there. And because it's blue, you know that it was made on the 4-hour chart. And you can do the same thing here. You can take another rectangle. You can mark this off here. I'll mark it. Still moving it around. Okay, now we're done. The software will see that. Boom. Okay, and then when you move to the different time frames, the 4-hour or the daily or whatever, all of these rectangles remain on the chart. Okay, which is really, really handy. Okay, so that was the rectangles. And finally, before we wrap up for the day, this is going to be a short video today. Some of you have been writing saying that the software or MT4 is complaining about this setting. Okay, so if you go to common, I'm enabling allow DLL imports, but it's still complaining about the histogram or the currency strength indicator. What you should do, instead of doing this on every instance of the software, you should do this in the global settings, which you find by going to tools in the main menu, options, you go to expert advisors, and then you click here allow DLL imports. You enable it and then you press OK, and then you never have to do it again. Good, well I'm going to leave it at that. If you have any questions, please do let me know, and thank you once again for watching.